All right, welcome to episode 6 of Walking New York by Keith Tallian. And we are now gonna do the Gilded Age, old money versus new money.
And this one starts, there's like, I think 3 sections of the Gilded Age. So this starts not the furthest south, it's in the middle. So I think that the Gilded Age started south and kept moving north up to the upper east side. So we're going to do the part that starts in Murray Hill, which is about on 34th Street.
Right, and then we'll work our way up to probably the bottom part of Central Park, I believe. All right, let's go. And because we're on the Upper West Side, we have to get there. So we're going to walk a little bit to the 72nd Street, take the number 2, the express line, down somewhere down there so we can get there quick. So, if you look at these signs, and I showed you this if you've seen my other videos, those signs show you that there's a movie that's going to be here. So they actually block the part, you can't park here, and they'll film movies or TV shows, and you get to come out and actually watch and film it. It's pretty cool. All right, we're at the start at Madison and 36th Street, East 36th Street. And so what can you say about what the start's about?
It starts at the Morgan Library.
Noisiest city in the world.
Which we'll read about in a minute and we'll share it with you. So this tour is part of the Gilded Age section of the book. And the Gilded Age was when, the wealthy people in New York City, at first it was more heritage, but then it became, after the Civil War, people made their own money, so it was new money, and they showed it off much more than the old money people did. So that's the difference between the new money and the old money, and the Gilded Age is the new money.
So I guess if I actually had money, and I was one of these people, I really do appreciate the new money more than the old money, because the old money basically was people who were born into it, and it went over for generations, and they didn't accept you. If you had new money, you had to be like in a bloodline, which to me doesn't sound that good. While the other guys, the new money, they actually earned their money, and a lot of it came from the Civil War time. And what happened is that there was a lot of industrialization and working on the railroads, and those people made a lot of money, which brought a lot of new money in. The thing is, they weren't accepted necessarily by the people who had the old money, because they actually were looked down upon, even though they really worked hard and earned their money instead of just having it handed to them. What do you think about all this?
I agree with you. Another
side of the J.P. Morgan building, library. You can see how huge this library was. This is the original one, and what we saw earlier, what we showed you earlier, was the add-on part. So this thing is just huge. All right, so what makes the J.P. Morgan library this huge thing? What makes it significant when it comes to the Gilded Age?
Well, there's a lot to say. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. But J.P. Morgan was a Wall Street titan, and then he started the United States Steel Company, which is the first billion-dollar company.
Awesome.
So he was part of the new money, but he decided to stay down in this area of the Gilded Age. He did not move uptown like the other people did, like the Astors, and he was a huge collector, probably the biggest collector in the world, mostly of books and manuscripts and things like that. So he started this library, and there are 2 lions in front of here that were done by the same person that did the 2 lines in front of the New York Public Library.
Oh,
that
wow.
are very, very famous. So this is the first building, and the original one. And then there's another building that was much newer that has a big, huge atrium in it. And then, so J.P. Morgan used to live right here in one of these mansions. And then his son lived in another mansion, which is now the gift shop. So there are many, many buildings.
Must be a nice gift shop.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting story about his librarian was a woman named Bell, and he was introduced to Bell, his nephew Junius, introduced him to a gentleman that was the first African-American to graduate from Harvard University, and Bell was his daughter.
Loudest city.
And, Bell actually decided to grow up as a white woman in New York, and she changed her middle name to LaCosta so people would think that she was Portuguese to explain her coloration.
Oh,
but
wow.
she stayed with him for decades and decades and helped curate the amazing collection that he has of manuscripts and all kinds of really interesting artifacts. They have a waterproof area underneath, I think it was 40 feet deep, to protect, to save a lot of the stuff that they have.
Wow, amazing. Thanks.
You need to get ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can step down for the next day.
Okay, thanks.
You're
You gonna get tickets? Hi. You just want to get information?
What's going on? Is there anything going on today?
Have a concert going on, a Mozart family concert.
Right.
Our current exhibition that we have on right now is Mozart, Caravaggio, and Come Together, and then of course our library section.
And how much are tickets?
So adults is 25, students and teachers are 13, seniors are 17, and military is 14.
Very good. And anything for New York City residents?
Unfortunately not.
All right,
Thanks. That's the front door to the house. That's now a gift shop. The gift shop, but you really want to look at the room. This is actually a room to a house. This is actually a model of the structure. So from that model, you could just see how big this complex is, huh?
It's huge.
Yeah, amazing. We're on Park in 34. So what's all this fuss about Murray Hill?
Well, it used to be a hill. Actually, all of New York used to be a lot of hills. But they flattened them, and there were swamps and ponds, and they covered them all up. But Murray Hill was a hill owned by the Murray family. And if you look downtown, you can actually see it goes down to at the top of the hill.
Cool.
So we're standing in the middle of the road right now.
Not the most comfortable thing in the world.
But down there is actually a tunnel, and so they built a train to go from the bottom of the island all the way up to Harlem. But because Murray Hill was a hill, they had to dig a tunnel, and the tunnel is here, still here, but obviously not used.
So it's interesting. We're right next to Park Avenue, and it used to be 4th Avenue, but they renamed it because I guess they wanted to bring more of the well, it sounded better, and
they wanted more high-end people to live here because Fourth Avenue is considered the dividing line between the wealthy and then the not so affluent. So if they changed the name to Park Avenue, maybe more people would move here. Because most of them were moving uptown.
Right. I wonder if it worked.
I don't think it did.
All right, so on 35th and Park is the Robb Mansion. So what's the scoop of the Robb Mansion? I guess you got to talk loud because loudest city.
So James Robb was a wealthy Philadelphia-born banker and politician and clubman. And like J.P. Morgan, he stayed here down in this part of the town without moving uptown like the other new money people did. But the difference in this house is it was built to look more Romanesque, when the look at that time was more French, chateau-esque, but this is more like Romanesque palazzo looking. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat that he actually had vision to make it look different than all the other ones that are all the same.
And now it's a co-op.
Cool. So the Lainer Mansion is on 123 35th Street, East 35th Street. So what's the deal with this mansion?
Well, it was built like a decade after the Robb Mansion, but Lainer decided to stay in this part of town too, and built this home, but more in the French style. So this home would look like any other home in fact, not any other home, any other mansion in Paris. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And rumor has it was never converted into multi-use. It's still a single-family home.
Yeah, like because most of these places have been converted over.
Right.
It's because it's so expensive to live here.
Yeah. And apparently it's owned by a Kuwaiti billionaire.
Wow. Wow. Why can't I be a Kuwaiti billionaire? One more shot of this mansion. Incredible. And on the way to the next stop, that's the Chrysler Building. Not sure what that is, but it's a pretty cool pan display or something. So behind us, underneath all that scaffolding, is Del Lamar Mansion. And Robin, what's the deal with this mansion?
Well, so the gentleman that built it was De Lamar, Joseph De Lamar. He was born in Holland, and he made a living on Martha's Vineyard raising shipwrecks. But then he moved to Colorado because of all the metal boom there, and that's where he really made his money. Then he came and he was looking for a wife, so he went to DC because they didn't really he came here and he couldn't find a wife because he didn't really have the stature that other people did. So he went to DC, but he didn't find one there. So he moved back here. He married a 17-year-old girl, and he was 49 years old.
Crazy.
But they still were never accepted into the Gilded Age society. So they really spent a lot of time in Paris. Turns out she was having a long-term affair with someone, and he brought his daughter back, and they have this mansion, and it's like, you can't see it unfortunately because of all the scaffolding, but it's like a caricature of a French mansion. I wish we could see it, but you really can't. Anyway,
yeah, I'm going to show them what it looks like from here, but unfortunately you won't see much.
Anyway, he died. His daughter, they had a coming out ball for her. There were 400 people, but she never married. She moved to Connecticut and bought lots of property and rented it out to her friends for really cheap rates and artists and things like that.
Very nice of her.
Yeah, and she had different relationships. One with this woman, actresses Eva La Gallienne and Mercedes DaCosta. When she died, she left $1 million to Eva, and she gave the rest of her money, which was a lot, $30 million, I think.
And back then, that's worth more,
Right.
you know.
To charities.
Wow, that's awesome. There's another angle of the mansion. That's the old Lord and Taylor building. All right, well, this huge skyscraper behind us used to be there used to be a mansion there called the Wendel Mansion. In 1935, I believe, it was torn down and this was built. But Robin, what do you want to talk a little bit about the history of the Wendel Mansion?
Well, they were a weird family. You know, the parents were very, very wealthy. They came from Germany. They were big in the fur trading business. And then they died and they left everything for their son. And he had like, I don't know, 6 sisters or something. And they were recluses, and he didn't let the sisters leave the house. The couple tried to escape. He had one institutionalized because she tried to leave and said she was crazy, and she finally relented and moved back home.
That's just not nice.
Right. Another one escaped at the age of 60, married someone, and ended up moving to New Jersey. But then they all finally passed away and left one lone sister living here with her dog. And just lived here till she died, and then there were no heirs. So a little bit of money was given to the Drew Theological Seminary in New Jersey, and the rest went to charity.
Interesting. All right, so what's the deal with the New York Library?
Well, there's a lot. But, basically, there was no library, no public library. There were private libraries. They either charged a fee or had a lot of restrictions. There was the Lenox Library. There was the Astor Library. But they all had a lot of rules and fees and things. So Tilden left money to build a private library and donated his 20,000 books. So the Astor Library and the Lenox Libraries came together and donated all of their books to this library, along with Tilden's collection of books.
Awesome. So it's probably pretty amazing in there, I'm assuming. So what's with Grand Central Station? I think it's probably one of the most famous stations in the world, but what do you have to say?
It started out, well, the Vanderbilts built it. He was a railroad guy. It started out as Grand Central Depot, then Grand Central Station, now Grand Central Terminal.
Right.
And it was all steam powered, but another train person brought the trains from Pennsylvania into here, but they were electrified, so that's his station was Penn Station. And
Which is a very famous station too, or a
Right.
big station.
And 2 trains coming here at some point crashed into each other because they didn't see it, because all the soot. So there was a new law that all trains had to be electrified. And that's when they turned this into Grand Central Terminal.
Yeah, at one point it sounded like they were going to knock this thing down, but I guess because they did change the trains to electric, that they kept it. They didn't knock it down, which is kind of wild and then it's like probably one of the biggest train stations in the world right now.
Right, yeah.
The roof called Night Sky. It's French. And you can see the constellations up there. All right, I'm just going to show you around a little bit. This place is a little crazy. This is the Helmsley. Pretty big building. So why was this massive Helmsley Building built?
It was the headquarters of the New York Central Railroad. And the railroad is all underneath here. So if you look down the grades, you could see the Metro North rail line. This is amazing. I mean, you see it all the time when you drive down Park Avenue, and I never knew what it was.
There's another JP Morgan Chase building. So this is the new JP Morgan building, JP Morgan Chase building. And you can see it's monstrous. And do you have anything to say about it?
Well, it's kind of funny. It's JP Morgan on Vanderbilt Street. And they were two families from the Gilded Age.
Pretty awesome. So we're approaching Rockefeller Center, and there's actually an Indi music festival going on, so we're going to check it out. St. Patrick's was complete like in 1888, I take it.
Right.
And so what else can you say about this incredibly beautiful church?
Well, it looks like it's always been here, but it actually hasn't, as you know. But it was built because more Catholics were coming here, but it was mostly Presbyterians, Episcopals, Dutch Reformed congregations, and they had the big churches. But the Archbishop was planning ahead, Archbishop John Hughes. He believed that one day Catholics would rule the city, so he had this big cathedral built, and he was right. The majority are Catholics now.
Awesome. You want to check out the inside of this church?
Sure, let's go.
All right. All right, so Cartier moved into this plant mansion. So this mansion used to be owned by the plants. And what more can you say about it?
Well, he was another railroad person. And And
Seems to be a theme here.
Yeah, the Vanderbilts lived right around here, too, right across the street. He actually bought this plot of land from the Vanderbilts. And they were trying to stave off the commercial buildings, but it didn't really work. They finally took over. But the story is that Frank's second wife, Maisie, I think her name was sitting next to Cartier at a dinner party, and they made a deal that he had this pearl necklace, that he would give them the pearl necklace and they would give him their mansion. And nobody knows if it's true or not. The story is he paid them $100 plus the pearl necklace for the mansion, and then turned it into a store, and it hasn't made really many changes at all to it.
Yeah, it's still a store today. So.
Right. And that necklace, so their mansion, when they moved uptown to 85th Street and 5th Avenue, the house was demolished at some point after they were gone, and they found a double strand pearl necklace, and it sold for $165,000 and has never been seen since.
Amazing. I mean, I would definitely give up a necklace for a mansion, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know.
Depends on the necklace.
Right.
Better shot of the mansion is all the way up there. So this was, I guess, from 50th Street to all the way up to like 58th Street. This is 5th Avenue, and this was considered Vanderbilt Row, I guess because there was a lot of mansions here at one point. And what else can you say about it?
Yeah, I mean, from generation to generation, they just kept building more and more mansions in the Vanderbilt family. But more commercialism was coming here. The street was being widened. Cars were now in use. So it wasn't really a very desirable place. So one by one, all the wealthy people moved more uptown, and it was the demise of the Gilded Age in Midtown.
You know, I would love to if my family had a bunch of mansions, but we didn't have any mansions. And that's the world's biggest Louis Vuitton bag. That's the Pulitzer fountain over there in front of the Plaza Hotel.
Second caters to the deep pocket of shoppers of this century's New York.
All right, we made it. We're done
Yeah.
with this one. That's a wrap. So hope you liked the video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in a comment. And if you know anyone who could use videos like this, make sure you share it with them. And 2 videos are going to pop up any moment. You can click on either of those videos and you can continue your happy living journey. And we will see you next time.